In this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and talk about actions in Photoshop. Actions are a pre-recorded set of steps that allow you to automate a lot of processes, whether it be changing things to PDFs or adding filters consistently or creating something completely different. There's a lot of different options. First thing you need to do is go over to Canvas. You need to open this actions assets.zip and download PFX stickers and the film actions. Notice these are .atn. These will not just open. We have to actually install these first. Let's go ahead and go into Photoshop and do File Open. Scroll over to where you have your assets unzipped and go ahead and grab the one called Berry. So within Photoshop we have a number of pre-recorded actions available. The actions right here is under the play button. So let's go ahead and look at the default actions that we have available right here. So we have quite a few different things it can do automatically. So let's go ahead and take a look at quadrant colors right here. If I click quadrant colors, I'm going to go ahead and unlock my background just by clicking on it. I'm going to go to my quadrant colors and push play down here at the bottom. And it will automatically go through the process of, if we look at the history, doing all these steps with just a click of your button. So you can do a lot of things really, really easily. I'm going to go ahead and hit an F12 and revert my picture back to the beginning. So what else can we do? We can try a sepia tone. Go ahead and push play. And sepia tone is kind of that old-time Western feel to things. So I'm going to go ahead and F12 and revert that as well. If I go here into my actions, I can see that there's a bunch of actions that aren't automatically loaded. So let's go ahead and grab Star Trails. And within Star Trails, we see we've got Star Trails Rotation. So I'm going to hit Star Trails Rotation. Go ahead, push play. And this one you can see it's doing quite a few different things in the background. And it creates this twirly look for you. So you then don't have to do that many steps. So that's where actions come in really, really handy. Let's F12 again and revert. One that's really handy that they have in default actions is called Vignette. In Vignette, it means to create kind of a transparent, feathery side to it. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that one. Let's go ahead and grab our vignette, unlock our background. I'm going to go here and grab my elliptical marquee. Don't grab the frame or the shape. I'm going to go ahead and draw my elliptical marquee over what I want to create. So what I want to keep. You can use your arrows and nudge that up if you like, because whatever's in the marquee is what you're going to end up keeping. Everything outside the marquee is going to go away. So I'm going to go ahead, hit Vignette, and hit play. It's going to say how big do you want the feather, the radius, what degrees of transparency do you want. I'm going to bump it up really wide so you can see what it looks like, and then I'm going to say OK. So now you can see I've got about 30 pixels worth of gradient here on the outside to create that vignette effect, and it made it so you had to skip all these other things, so which makes it really nice. So that's a great thing about a vignette. Let's go ahead and do this one file, save as, save it as berry.psd, and go ahead and this will be one that you turn in. So how do we load a default action? Things that aren't already in here. So let's go ahead, I'm going to dump my Star Trails in the garbage so you can kind of see a few things. So you can easily get rid of them just by going here, or we can go ahead and do reset all actions, tell it OK, and it'll go back to just the basic default ones you're given. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we want flower. So file, open, and here's flower. We're going to turn flower into a couple of different stickers. So one of the first things we need to do is to download that custom shape and to load it. So let's go here into our hamburger menu, our flyout menu. We want to load the action. And we want to go ahead and load the PFX stickers and hit load. So now you'll notice I've got ones called round stickers and one called clear tape. So we're going to go ahead and create round stickers. So I'm going to say play. It's going to say open an image. So I'm going to say okay, continue. I'm going to go ahead and grab my flower again. And I can use my transform controls to make sure it's going to fit within the bounds of the sticker. I can slide it back and forth, get whatever you want. And when you're ready, push play again or enter to commit it. Then it's going to go through and start creating that sticker for you. And it's going to say our first sticker's done. Let's create another one and continue. And we can just finish stop. So I'm going to go ahead and close up my berries so I don't see my berries anymore. So now I see I've got my two different stickers, one with a border and one without a border. It creates this curl for you, creates quite a few different items, and look at all the steps that you got to skip by not doing the action by yourself. So go ahead, make sure you save these, sticker 1 and sticker 2. So that's relatively simple on how to run that type of action. Say yes. And close that, say yes. Alrighty, so what else can we do? Let's go ahead and take a look at what the clear tape does. Let's go to File, Open, and let's grab the boat. We're going to go ahead, open our actions in our placing. We hit clear tape and push play right here. And say make sure you've opened an image. Okay, we've got one. Say continue. Alright, so we can change the width. It's telling us to change it by holding Alt. So we can hold Alt, grab these, and change the size of, let go of mouse, then let go of Alt. You can use your arrows to nudge. When you have it where you want it, go ahead and push Enter. It's going to say continue. So now we're going to say, it's going to say, okay, how do you want the bubbles to look? And you can play with your slider to decide how bubbly you want your tape to be. I'm going to say OK. Say now it wants us to play with the threshold. So you can see the more it's changing here. When you like it, go ahead and say OK. And we hit continue. So now it's telling us if you want to add more layers of tape, we can go ahead and duplicate this layer right here. So this tape layers, you want duplicate group. Then you want to grab your selection tool and auto select group, not layer, and you can create another piece of tape. So that was a really easy way to create a totally different look and feel. You might want to do something like this for your editor's notes, for your infographics. Totally up to you as to how you're going to play with these type of effects. Alright, so make sure you do File, Save As a PSD. You'll turn that one in as well. Alright, so those are some actions that do very intricate things to your publication. Sometimes you want to use actions just as a filter though. So let's go ahead and do File, Open, and let's grab Bride. Let's go up here to our flyout menu and we want to load actions, and we want to grab the one called 31 Film and Photo Actions. And when you do the drop down right here, you're going to see it's going to give you a ton of different types of things that you can do to this image. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hit Sepia. I'm going to unlock my layer, and I'm going to push play. And it's going to go through and create a sepia tone for me. So say you're a photographer and you want to apply these pictures, same type of effect to a lot of different pictures. This is a really easy way to do it. I don't love that one, so I'm going to F12 and move back out of it. I'm going to try, what does clean morning look like? And a lot of times, a lot of this is just learning how to play with the different things that are available. So I'm going to do F12. Let's go ahead and do Dreamland. So go ahead, find one that you like. Once you have it, go ahead, do File, Save As, and save it as Bride PSD or Bride JPEG is fine. Alright, so those are using pre-recorded actions. So what happens when you want to create your own? We're going to create our own action that will create an oil painting out of a picture. So let's go ahead and do File, Open, and let's go ahead and grab Girl. And we have this little toddler here. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is give ourselves some place to save what we're creating. So I'm going to go ahead and click my film actions and so I can see what's going on. Hit my flyout menu. I want new set. I'm going to go ahead and call this new set Danielle. You can call it your name, whatever you want to call it, wherever you're going to save it. So now I've got a new place to save this. So now in my panel, I want to create a new action. And we're going to call this Instant Oil Painting. And we're going to make sure it saves here in where you want to save it. You can create a function key, so if you want to, you could create a hot buttons for it. We're not going to deal with that right now. We're going to go ahead and hit record. So now we know we're recording because it has this red light on. So anything we do to the image from now on is going to be recorded, this set of steps. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to unlock it. So now it says set background. It's our first step. Next thing we're going to go to the image and we're going to do some destructive editing, adjustments. We want hue and saturation. And let's bring that's saturation over to 50. So we can just type 50 in the box and see how it turns our colors way up. And we're going to say OK. And now you see in our steps, we now have another step recorded. We're going to go to Filter. We're going to go down here to Filter Gallery. We want to go ahead and go into Distort. And in your Filter Gallery, you can always make this smaller with your minus. And we want to go ahead and do glass. And let's set this. So the distortion is 3. The smoothness is 3. The texture is canvas, because we want it to look like a painting. If we zoom in, we can see more of that. Come on. So you can kind of see the canvas look to it. And let's go ahead and our scaling, let's set it to 79. Alright, do not push OK yet. We're actually going to do multiple layer effects. So we go down here to the bottom and we want this new layer effect. We want to go ahead and go to Artistic. We want to go to Paint Daubs. Our brush is going to be 4. Our sharpness is going to be 1. And our brush type is simple. Still don't push OK yet. We're going to create another layer effect. So down here at the bottom. We want to go up here to brush strokes. In brush strokes we want angled strokes. The direction balance is going to be 46. The stroke length is 3. The length and the sharpness is 1. So you can see all these things are changing it as we go along. Still don't push OK. We're going to hit yet another new layer effect. We want texture. We want texturizer right down here. We want it to be canvas. We want the scaling to be 65, the relief to be 2, and we want it to be top left. Now we can go ahead and press OK. So notice how it's now set all of these individual things for us to do in the filter gallery. So next thing we want to do is duplicate that background layer. So we're going to go ahead here, right click, and duplicate our layer. We can go ahead and just call it layer copy, so OK. On this new layer, we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and Desaturate. So we're telling it to pull all of the color out of it. So now we have a black and white and a color layer. We're going to go ahead, while we're still in this mode, in blending mode, go ahead and change it to Overlay. So you see we've got quite a few different steps going on so far. Let's go to filter. We want stylize, and we want emboss. We want the angle to be 135, the height to be 1, and the amount to be 500%. And we're going to say OK. And it changes it just a little bit more. So now, still on layer 1, we're going to turn the opacity down over on the side over to 40%. And that's all we need to do in order to create what we need to do. So on this action panel, we're going to go ahead and push stop. And we're going to go ahead and save her as file, save as girl painting .psd and save. So if you zoom in a whole bunch, you can see how you've created that really different look that makes it look more like a painting than it did like the photograph. So let's actually test this. Let's go File and Open. I want you to go ahead and grab Beach. And we're going to go ahead and go to your instant oil painting. Go ahead and push play. And watch it go through all these different steps in order to make it into that oil painting. This is a really fun, really easy, so all those steps that it took you to do this, by recording, you can now apply this to lots and lots of different types of images. We'll do File, Save As, call it Beach Painting. And save. So you're going to go ahead and turn in multiple documents for this assignment. They all need to get turned in as a PSD. So make sure you do what you can. Do your homework. Look around. Find actions that will help make your life a lot easier in creating things. There's a bunch loaded into Canvas for you to test as well.